Let me tell you something that sounds like absolute fantasy, like a too good to be true piece of internet folklore. What if I said there is a common, delicious, and widely available fruit that, when eaten correctly, can begin to quiet the raging fires of chronic inflammation in your body within hours, not weeks, not months, but within a single afternoon? This isn't a pharmaceutical ad. This is about the humble, the glorious mango. We've all heard about blueberries and kale, the usual suspects in the anti-inflammatory league, but emerging science is painting a startlingly vivid picture of the mango as a potential heavyweight champion in this fight. And this is a monumental but, this incredible power is locked away behind a specific secret, a huge catch, as the title says. You can eat mangoes every single day for a year and completely miss this benefit if you don't know this one. Critical, non-negotiable rule. It's not about the quantity, it's about the context. So if you, or someone you love, battles with the silent, creeping pain of inflammation, that stiff lower back in the morning, the persistent joint ache, the brain fog, the stubborn bloating, or the skin conditions that flare up without warning, you cannot afford to miss this deep dive. Because what we're about to uncover is not just nutritional trivia, it's a potential paradigm shift in how we use everyday food as potent medicine. The journey of the mango from a sweet tropical treat to an inflammation-fighting superhero inside your body is a tale of biochemistry, timing, and a surprising symbiotic relationship with your gut's inner ecosystem. To understand the immediate part, we have to first dismantle a common myth. We often think of food working like a slow, cumulative supplement. You take vitamin C for a month, and eventually, your immune system gets better. That's true for many nutrients. But certain compounds in plants, called bioactives, can have what scientists call acute effects. This means their impact can be measured in the bloodstream, and by proxy on inflammatory markers, within 60 to 120 minutes of consumption. A landmark study published in the journal Molecular Nutrition and Food Research took this premise and applied it directly to the mango. Researchers gave participants a single 400-gram serving of fresh mango pulp, that's about 2.5 cups, a decent-sized mango. They then took blood samples at intervals over the next several hours. What they found was nothing short of dramatic levels of a key inflammatory marker called TNF-alpha, a primary chemical messenger that shouts attack to your immune system, showed a significant and rapid decrease. Another villain in the chronic inflammation story, a compound called PGE2, prostaglandin E2, which is heavily involved in pain and swelling, was also curtailed. This wasn't a long-term dietary study. This was a snapshot of a biological event. The mango, quite literally, sent a cease and desist order to the body's inflammatory responders within the time frame of a movie, demonkinism. It's believed that a unique combination of antioxidants and polyphenols in mango, Mangiferin, quercetin, gallic acid, and a suite of carotenoids acts like a special forces unit. They don't just mop up free radicals passively. They seem to directly interfere with the enzymatic pathways that produce these inflammatory signals in the first place. They turn down the volume on the genetic expression of inflammation. Now, this is the glowing, promising science that makes headlines. But this is also precisely where 99% of the conversations stop. They sell you on the miracle and send you running to the grocery store. And that's where, if you don't know the catch, you will fail. Because the mango's secret weapon is a double-edged sword. Its potent anti-inflammatory compounds are powerful, but they are also delicate and demanding. They require a specific environment in your gut to be unlocked, absorbed, and allowed to perform their symphony. And the modern diet, along with some very common ways of eating mango, systematically destroys that very environment. This is the core of the catch. It's not that the mango doesn't work. It's that we are unintentionally, and almost universally, sabotaging its work before it even begins. So, before you think the solution is to just blend 3 mangoes into a smoothie tomorrow, you need to understand the intricate dance between this fruit and your inner world. The promise is real, but the path to accessing it is narrower and more specific than you've ever been told. So let's dissect this huge catch. It all converges on one organ, your gut, more specifically your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that call your digestive system home. This isn't just about digestion, this is about transformation, the star anti-inflammatory compounds in mango, particularly the superstar Mangiferin, are not always in their most active, bioavailable form when they arrive in your stomach. They are like locked treasure chests. Your gut bacteria, specifically certain beneficial strains, are supposed to be the keys. They metabolize these polyphenols, breaking them down into smaller, more potent metabolites that can then easily zip through your intestinal lining into your bloodstream, where they perform their anti-inflammatory magic. This process is called bioactivation. Without a healthy, diverse population of these key bacteria, the Mangiferin and its friends pass through you like polite but ineffective tourists. They might offer a minor antioxidant benefit on the way out, but the profound, systemic, inflammation-quelling effect that gets flushed away with them. Herein lies the catastrophic problem of the modern world. The standard Western diet high in processed foods, refined sugars, industrial seed oils, and low in fibrous plants is a scorched earth policy for these crucial microbial keys. Antibiotics, chronic stress, and a lack of fermented foods further decimate this internal garden. So, the average person today, likely dealing with some level of gut dysbiosis, an imbalance of good and bad bacteria, eats a mango. Their depleted microbiome cannot perform the necessary unlock. The mango's potential is nullified. This is catch number 1. You must have a gut environment capable of unlocking the mango's power. But it gets more specific and more counterintuitive. Catch number 2 involves what you eat the mango with. We live in the era of the smoothie, the fruit bowl, the healthy snack, a common pairing, mango and yogurt, or mango and a protein shake with whey protein. This, according to detailed research into food combining and polyphenol bioavailability, might be a critical error. The potent polyphenols in mangolo, including Mangiferin, have a strong binding affinity. They can bind to proteins specific, the casein in dairy and the proteins in many protein powders, forming complexes that are too large and too tightly bound to be easily broken down and absorbed in the small intestine. These complexes often travel to the colon, where they can be fermented by bacteria. But the efficiency and the resulting metabolites are different. You are, in effect, handing the treasure chest to your gut bacteria with an extra, heavier lock on it. Some studies suggest that consuming high polyphenol fruits like mango with concentrated protein sources can reduce the bioavailability of those polyphenols by a significant margin, sometimes over 30%. This doesn't mean you should never have mango in a smoothie. But if your primary goal is acute anti-inflammatory action, this common practice is likely diluting your results. Then there's catch number 3. Sugar. A ripe mango is sweet. It contains natural sugars, fructose, glucose, sucrose, in the whole fruit package, with all its fiber. These sugars are released slowly and are not a problem for most people. However, the most popular way to consume mango commercially is in juiced form, or dried, or in sugary desserts. Here, the sugar load is concentrated, the fiber is stripped away, and you get a blood sugar spike. Why does this matter for inflammation? Because a rapid spike in blood glucose is, in itself, a pro-inflammatory event. It creates a surge of insulin and can trigger the release of inflammatory cells. So, drinking a mango juice, which often has added sugar, is like taking 2 steps forward with the polyphenols and 3 steps back with the sugar spike. You are introducing anti-inflammatory agents and inflammatory triggers simultaneously, creating biological confusion and likely canceling out the benefit. The catch, therefore, is a triad of conditions: a compromised gut microbiome, poor culinary partnerships, and a processed high-sugar form of the fruit. This is why the person eating a mango chunk after lunch, or blending it with protein powder for a post-workout shake, or sipping on pasteurized mango juice, might feel absolutely nothing in terms of inflammation reduction. They are missing the key. The promise of immediately is reserved for those who navigate this tripartite catch with precision. It requires a strategy, a deliberate approach to both the mango and the body that receives it. This isn't just eating. It's administering a bioactive, anti-inflammatory nutraceutical, and the protocol for its administration is everything. Now, let's build the protocol, the exact, actionable blueprint to not just eat a mango, but to deploy it for maximal, rapid anti-inflammatory impact. This is the how-to that bridges the gap between fascinating science and tangible results. In your body, we will address the 3 catches in reverse order, starting with the mango itself, then its companions, and finally, the foundational gut environment. First, the source. You must choose the right mango in the right form. Always opt for the whole, fresh, ripe fruit. The fiber matrix in the whole fruit is non-negotiable. It modulates the sugar absorption, feeds your good gut bacteria directly, which we'll get to, and comes with a complete spectrum of vitamins A, C, E, K, minerals, potassium, magnesium, and that full palette of polyphenols intact. Frozen mango pulp without additives is a good second choice for smoothies, as freezing preserves nutrients well. You must avoid, at all costs for this purpose, canned mango and syrup, shelf-stable mango juices, which are often heat-destroying delicate compounds, and sugary mango-flavored products. They are imposters. Next, ripeness. A mango that is still green and firm is higher in starch and certain acids. A fully ripe mango, yielding gently to pressure, has converted those starches into sugars and has actually increased its antioxidant capacity in many cases. The vibrant orange color of the flesh indicates high levels of beta-carotene, another anti-inflammatory agent. So, step 1 is 1 whole, ripe, fresh mango. Step 2 is timing. For an acute, immediate effect, you want to consume this mango on an empty stomach, or as a standalone snack separated by at least an hour from other foods, especially heavy meals, rich in fats and proteins. The logic is to allow the mango's bioactive compounds to hit your digestive system with minimal competition or interference. Think of it as sending the Special Forces unit in alone, not tangled up in a crowded civilian convoy. This maximizes the chance for direct contact with your gut lining and your microbiome. It's a classic time for this. Mid-morning or mid-afternoon, not right after a big breakfast or lunch. Now let's solve the food combining puzzle. If you are going to pair it strategically. Combine your mango with other anti-inflammatory, gut-friendly allies. A small handful of raw almonds or walnuts adds healthy fats and vitamin E, without the problematic protein-binding issue of dairy. A sprinkle of cinnamon can help further modulate blood sugar response. Or, and this is a powerful synergy, blend your mango with a handful of spinach and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. You get a fiber and polyphenol powerhouse that feeds good bacteria from multiple angles. If you absolutely must have a creamy texture, use a dollop of coconut yogurt or a splash of almond milk instead of dairy. The goal is to create a synergistic, anti-inflammatory food matrix, not a conflicting one. But the most critical, non-negotiable part of the protocol, the master key that addresses the primary catch of gut health, is what you do around the mango consumption. You cannot just parachute a mango into a gut environment that is hostile and expect transformative results. You must become a gardener. In the hours and days surrounding your mango administration, you need to be actively feeding and nurturing the very bacteria that will unlock it. This means a daily intake of prebiotic fibers, the specific food for your good bacteria. These are found in foods like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, oats, and slightly green bananas. By consistently eating these, you are cultivating the bifidobacteria and lactobacilli strains that are proficient at metabolizing polyphenols. Furthermore, incorporating fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, if you tolerate dairy, or kombucha introduces actual live strains of these beneficial bacteria directly into your system. Imagine eating the mango as delivering the raw materials to a factory. The prebiotics are the fuel for the factory workers, and the fermented foods are like hiring more skilled workers. This holistic, gut-centric approach is what transforms the mango from a simple fruit into a targeted therapeutic agent. A practical 24-hour protocol could look like this. For breakfast, you have oatmeal with a sprinkle of flax and a few blueberries. More polyphenols. Mid-morning on an empty stomach, you eat your whole, ripe mango, mindfully, slowly. For lunch, a salad with plenty of onions, chickpeas, and a vinegar-based dressing. Throughout the day, you drink plenty of water. This pattern supports the entire ecosystem. This is the level of intentionality required to unlock the immediate effect. It's not magic. It's applied nutritional science. It's recognizing that the mango is not working alone. It's the conductor of an orchestra that is your microbiome, and you need to ensure all the musicians are present and well fed. Let's talk about the evidence and the real-world impact beyond the blood markers. We've covered the acute study where TNF-alpha dropped within hours. But what does that mean for someone with, say, arthritis, or psoriasis, or inflammatory bowel disease? The science, while still evolving, is incredibly promising. Take osteoarthritis, the wear and tear inflammation of joints. A pilot study gave participants with this condition a daily serving of mango for 3 months. While not immediate, the results were significant. Participants reported measurable reductions in pain and improvements in physical function. Researchers hypothesized that the cumulative effect of daily polyphenol intake was quietly damping down the inflammatory fires in the joint spaces. For skin conditions like acne or psoriasis, which are fundamentally driven by inflammation, the mango's mix of vitamin A as beta-carotene, which converts to retinol, vitamin C for collagen synthesis, and its anti-inflammatory polyphenols can work from the inside out. Vitamin A helps regulate skin cell turnover, while the anti-inflammatory compounds may calm the underlying immune dysregulation. The key here is consistency alongside the gut protocol, as skin health is profoundly linked to gut and so-called gut-skin axis. Then there's metabolic inflammation, the silent, chronic type associated with obesity and prediabetes. Here Mangiferin has shown a remarkable dual ability to improve insulin sensitivity in cells and to inhibit the production of new fat cells. It's as if it addresses both the blood sugar dysregulation and the adipose tissue inflammation that are hallmarks of metabolic syndrome. This is where the whole fruit with fiber rule is paramount again, to prevent sugar spikes. But perhaps the most profound potential lies in brain health. Neuroinflammation is a suspected root cause of brain fog, age-related cognitive decline, and more serious neurodegenerative diseases. The polyphenols in mango, particularly once metabolized by the gut into smaller compounds, can cross the blood barrier. Once there, they act as neuroprotectants, reducing oxidative stress and calming inflammatory pathways in the brain's own immune cells. This isn't to say a mango cures Alzheimer's. is to say that the compounds within it are engaging in the fundamental, daily housekeeping that keeps the brain resilient. So, the immediate effect we first discussed, the rapid drop in inflammatory markers, is the opening salvo. It's the first wave of calm. The long-term, consistent, strategic consumption of mango as part of a gut-healthy anti-inflammatory diet is the sustained campaign. It's about creating an internal environment that is persistently less hospitable to the flames of chronic disease. This brings us to a crucial, often overlooked point: variety. While we are rightfully praising the mango, it should not be your only soldier in this fight. The principle we've learned: polyphenols unlocked by a healthy gut applies to a rainbow of plants, the deep purple of blueberries, anthocyanins, the bright red of tomatoes, lycopene, the dark green of spinach, lutein, the pungent punch of garlic, allicin. Each offers a slightly different portfolio of anti-inflammatory compounds. The diversity of your plant intake directly correlates with the diversity of your microbiome, which in turn amplifies your ability to extract benefits from all of them. Think of the mango as a particularly powerful general in your army of plants. Relying on it alone is a tactical error. The true magic happens when the mango's mangiferin, the blueberries, anthocyanins, the broccolis, sulforaphane, and the curcumin all converge in your system, supported by a thriving gut populace that knows exactly how to activate each one. This is the symphony of anti-inflammatory nutrition. It is complex, personalized, and incredibly powerful. It moves us far beyond the simplistic notion of superfoods and into the realm of dietary ecosystems. Your plate becomes a garden that feeds not just you, but the trillions of organisms that, in turn, govern your health. The mango is a spectacular entry point into this understanding because its catch so perfectly illustrates the interdependence. Its failure without a healthy gut is the lesson. Its success with one is the living proof of a fundamental biological truth. We are not just eating for ourselves. We are eating for an entire universe within us, and that universe holds the keys to turning our food from mere calories into profound, system-altering medicine. So, where do we go from here? The information is laid out: the stunning potential, the frustrating catches, and the precise protocol to bridge the gap. The final step is integration and action. This isn't about becoming obsessive or fearful around food. It's about becoming empowered and intentional. Start by conducting a simple audit of your gut health. Be honest with yourself. Do you regularly experience bloating, gas, irregular bowel movements, or fatigue after meals? These can be signs of a microbiome in distress, a sign that the keys might be missing. Your first mission, even before you buy a single mango, is to begin the work of a gardener. For the next week, make it a goal to include one prebiotic food, like garlic, onion, or oats, and one probiotic food like sauerkraut or a good quality, sugar-free kombucha every single day. This is non-negotiable foundational work. Then, in the second week, introduce the mango. Go to the store, pick out a ripe, fragrant mango. Let it sit on your counter until it yields to gentle pressure. Then, on a quiet afternoon, take 30 minutes for yourself, wash the mango, slice it, and eat it alone, mindfully, as a standalone event. Savor its sweetness, its texture. This isn't just consumption. It's an experiment. Pay attention to your body in the hours that follow. Do you feel a sense of calm energy? Is there a slight reduction in any baseline ache or stiffness you might have? Keep a small journal. This mindful practice turns you from a passive consumer into an active researcher of your own biology. Next, think about your wider diet. Where can you dig in more color, more diversity of plants? Can you add a handful of spinach to your eggs? Some berries to your breakfast? Or an extra vegetable to your dinner? Remember, diversity of plants equals diversity of gut bacteria, which equals a greater ability to unlock the benefits of all these foods, including the mango. This is a long-term strategy for building resilience. Now, let's address a critical point. The mango is not a replacement for medical treatment. If you have a diagnosed inflammatory condition like rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, or lupus, this information is a powerful adjunct to your treatment, not an alternative. Please, discuss dietary changes with your healthcare provider. But armed with this knowledge, you can have a more informed conversation. You can say, I'm looking into anti-inflammatory dietary strategies focusing on polyphenol-rich foods and gut health. What are your thoughts? You become a collaborator in your own care. Finally, let's shatter one last illusion, the idea of a quick fix. The title promised almost immediately, and the science supports an acute biochemical shift. But lasting health, the silencing of chronic inflammation that has smoldered for years, is a journey. The Mango Protocol is a powerful catalyst, a demonstration of what's possible. It shows you that food can have a rapid, measurable effect. But sustaining that effect requires sustaining the practices, the gut gardening, the dietary diversity, the mindful eating. It's about building a new relationship with food, where you see it not just as fuel or pleasure, but as information and communication with your cells. The huge catch ultimately is a blessing in disguise. It forces us to look deeper, to understand the complexity and beauty of our physiology. It teaches us that no single food is a magic bullet, but that every food is a potential key, and our body is the lock that requires careful, consistent tending. The MANGOS story is a microcosm of modern nutritional science. The move from isolated nutrients to whole foods, from whole foods to food matrices, and from food matrices to the human ecosystem they nourish. It's a fascinating, empowering place to be. You now hold a piece of that knowledge. You know the secret. You understand that the mango's power is not in its sweetness, but in its hidden chemistry, and that chemistry is only activated through the life within you. Do not let this be just another video you watch and forget. The information is useless if it stays here. Your action starts today. Here is your 3-step mission. First, before the day ends, comment below with the word gardener. This commits you to the process. Tell me one small step you will take this week for your gut health. Will it be adding onions to your dinner, or trying kimchi? Putting it in writing makes it real. Second, share this video with one person who needs to hear it. Someone who's with pain, with inflammation, with digestive issues. Share it with a caption that says, "This explains so much about food in my body." Third, and most importantly, go to your kitchen right now. Look at your food. Do you have a vegetable? Eat it. Do you have a processed snack? Consider replacing it tomorrow. This isn't about perfection. It's about the next right choice. Your health is built one choice, one bite, one mango at a time. The power to quiet inflammation is not in a pharmacy. It's in your grocery store, and more importantly, it's in your daily habits. The catch is real, but so is the key. And you are now the one holding it. Use it. Start today. I'll be reading your comments, looking for that word gardener. Now go and grow.